Hi everyone, it's Heidi from flutterbyheidi.co.uk. I'm Heidi Smith. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator based in the United Kingdom, and today I'm working with Let's Go Shopping Suite, or rather I am and I'm not, because I'm not actually using the stamp set today. So the fun folder I've created today doesn't actually have any stamping, but you could make it with stamped images, so you could easily build yourself some shops to go onto this card. But I thought it was a way to show you how to use the lovely DSP that it comes with. So I've already said in some of my other videos, which may or may not have come out before this one, this is a paper I love. I just think this is beautiful. You could recreate this yourself by white embossing some shop images and then either watercolouring over the top or using your blending brushes, but I just think it's beautiful, and you can get at least 6 standard card fronts out of this. On the reverse you've got lots of multiple little shop images. We then have this paper, which is kind of tiles, and on the front you've got the books and paints. Those go with any that are themed. This one, I love this side. I think the cobblestones are great. This is possibly my least favourite. The bigger images don't kind of speak to me. I think in smaller pieces it works and it's nice, bright and cheery. This is lovely. Look at all these lovely shops. So this is our art shops and all sorts of different ones. You then have a second sheet where the shops are different, and then a third sheet where you've got different shops again. So that's what I'm using to create this fun pull-out card. It's kind of like a double Z fold, but just slightly different. But you can see it's like a staggered Z fold, I guess. Maybe that's what I'll call it. But I just wanted not quite so much depth, but I wanted something that kind of created a scene when it was out. And there we go. It's got some lovely little panels to create some scenery, and then on the back I've put a panel here with, again, one of the scraps, and this is one way to use up those side pieces. So, you know, you can use, in fact, on my next one I'm going to use that one there. So, you know, don't discard these side pieces because they can be really useful for all sorts of things. In fact, I might even use one of these shops. Actually, yeah. Do you know what? I'm going to come up here and use some of these instead. There we go. There we go. So that's what I'm going to start out with doing, to be honest with you. So that's the card that I made. This piece is going to be, I'll use this on the back. And I'm just fussy cutting. So you could sit and do this, you know, when you have a spare few minutes. If somebody else in the family is watching television and you want to spend some time with them, that's, you know, that would be a great way to keep in touch with the family. As you can see, really quick and easy. I love this blue. I like this shop. This kind of florist's one. Not quite as easy to cut out, this one, because it's got more sort of foliage around the edges. But it works. So the dies that cut out the actual shops in the stamp set also coordinate with a Christmas stamp set. From the mini catalogue. So this one here. So that's a really nice one. You know, you could have lots of fun creating some scenes with those. And if I get time before this video goes live, I might even try to do a Christmas stamped version with it, and it'll be tacked onto the end or maybe inserted somewhere, just to give you a few more ideas. But yeah, it's just you know, I don't do a lot of fussy cutting, but I kind of understand how people would find it therapeutic. I don't have a machine to do my cutting out, and I know, you know, people do, but when you're starting out, you know, it's easy to think that, you know, you've got to have all the gear, but actually a good pair of scissors, and that's where the paper snips are fantastic, is, you know, really useful. So you can just get, you know, a little border around there. And what other shop? I could use that one as well. It's quite a tall one. I mean, I think the answer is probably to cut out several and then layer them together and see which ones you like. And again, I used a part one, you can see on the end there with that shop, and then I've put that one as well, so that kind of looks of its own. That's actually the top layer of one of the other ones that was just on the edge. I thought, oh, you know, it looks like a little house, you know, it works just as well. And these days, and let's be honest, you can have all sorts of buildings. These are very kind of traditional American buildings, I would say. And we have had some beautiful ones in the past, which have been kind of sort of Austrian sort of style, sort of French style, with those, you know, lovely sort of fancy tops. Remind me of a place called Arras in France, which is why I kind of think of them as sort of French or maybe Austrian. But yeah, so we kind of have had similar ones, but I don't remember a kind of shops one like this before. So the buildings but not shops maybe. So even these little, you know, little bits, I'm going to pop that out. And what I do is I just keep a little CD pouch, and when I cut a few out, stick them in, so you could, you know, easily make yourself a little selection. So I kind of keep the whole ones in there and the part ones as well, so that they're there, you know, for whatever you want. So if I've got an end part one that I might want to use, no, most of those are whole ones, so I'll cut some of them out for DSP as we go along. You'll probably want to fast forward through this bit. There is a die that cuts out these little, the little sort of placards. So yeah, that's sort of easy to do if you've got them. Oh, there's my. There's these little planters, but there's another one which I think is on the other DSP, which I'll show you in a moment, and that's like a little sort of topiary ball, and there's a die that cuts out that dinky little piece as well. So there we go, that's another one done. So this one, there is a die for it, so if you've got the dies, then that's, you know, great, you can quickly die cut that, but I'm just showing you, you know, this one's quite an easy one to do. What is lovely in the dies is there's a lovely little lamp post, which you can then add on, which is really cute as well. Let's have a look, what other part ones do I want? So I kind of, yeah, this is a part one, so that could possibly go on the edge there, particularly if I cut the roof off. So I think if I cut the roof off there, that'll be my one in the corner, that'll be there. Then I'll have my main house, and then I could have another one, maybe of those on that edge. I've already got another part edge one. Let's have a look. To tuck into the corner. There we go, there's a little shop here. So it's quite nice to kind of vary the heights of these as well. So that bit will go in there. So I'm kind of getting a feel for what it's going to look like. That's my piece to go on the back. That's my main sort of focal house, I think. And maybe this one as well. So I'm just going to kind of lay those out. So that one will probably pop in there. Yeah, that would work on the side panel there. That little one can tuck in. And then I do think I need something on the side there, and maybe I need something taller as well. So I think, crikey, I'm chopping into my DSP here. This is unheard of. Block. I've cut those out, and I think what I'm actually going to do is cut one of these into half to use on the edge. So I'm just going to pop that into my trimmer at the bottom there and kind of make sure it's reasonably lined up and just cut that in half. So that'll go in there, and then I can use the other half elsewhere. So those are going to be my hoses. So now we can just create our card base to go with those. So I've used Petal Pink on here. I thought I'd just go with the Misty Moonlight and Balmy Blue and add an extra layer in the centre there on this one. So I'm going to do my card base out of Balmy Blue, and then I'm going to grab a little bit of Misty Moonlight to go across it as well. So you want half a piece of cardstock, and then just trim it down to 28 centimetres. So 28 by 28.5 by 10.5. Then you want a piece that is 3 centimetres by 3.5 by 18, not 3 centimetres, right. So you want a piece that is 3.5 centimetres for the pop, 3.5 centimetres, and I'm going to cut that down just to 18 centimetres, like so. And that second piece you want to score at 5 and 16.5. And I have done this in inches as well. I'll pop the measurements down in my description box below this video. So that's going to go on the card like so. Your main piece we are going to score at 5 centimetres, at 8.5, at 20 and 23.5. So you've got two 5 centimetre panels on the side there and an 11.5 in the middle. And then it folds down to make a standard size card to fit in a standard envelope. But then what's lovely is because it kind of extends out, it makes it look like a much bigger card. So just pop that. So once you've burnished them all, the ones either side of the long piece are going to fold as a mountain fold, and then this one is going to be a valley fold, so fold it back on itself and just reinforce that. Then to the left hand side, that first one is going to be a valley with the second one as a mountain fold. So that's where you get that zigzag piece, like so. We want to put our layer onto the back there. So for that, I have gone slightly different to my sample. So I've got a piece which is 11 by 10 centimetres, which I'm going to pop in the middle there. And now obviously with these layers, you know, in the zigzag, it will be a little bit thicker, so it won't go as a standard card. It goes you might just get away with it, but it's most likely to go as a large letter. So there we go. So add your DSP, so just 0.5 centimetre. So this is 10.5 wide by 9.5 high, like so. Then we've got 2 panels for the side, so these are 4.5 by 10, and then the 2 pieces of DSP, see where I've cut them, those are 4 by 9.5 centimetres. So we'll just pop those in next. I think my scraps are actually just slightly under 9.5, but I kind of went, yeah, I'm not going to get away with it. Oh, and adhesive on. I'll need to wipe that up in just a second before I glue myself to it. So I'm just going to scrape up the excess and add a bit of adhesive on the back there. Okay. So while the card is flat, it's a good time to put our panel on the back here. So again, 11 by 10 centimetres, and as I said, you know, I've just got a little house, strip of house I'm going to pop on the back there. Or shops. Not even houses, are they? Duh. It feels really autumnal here now. It's kind of, we literally had a week of absolutely scorching hot for the UK, scorching hot weather, and it was like, oh my giddy auntie, it's just too hot. Yeah, now it's back to normal. Now we're back to the usual. So this next piece, so this is the bit that's going to go on, and what you're going to do is you're going to put some adhesive on the front, because it's going to glue there, and adhesive here. So I'm actually going to put it, unusually, onto the card itself on that one, and then onto the pop out on this one, because what I want to do is pop that in there. So just line that up. Just see, I'm just holding that against the crease like so, and then line it up there, and then just fold it in place, because you want to make sure it folds nice and flat. And while it's upright, while you've used Tombow, you've got a bit of movement, you can make sure it's nice and flush with the bottom of your card. And so all that remains to do now is for us to add in our houses. So I'm just going to add some adhesive again, just to the bottom here. Okay, clearly not using that one because I've obviously starting to run out. So there. This one's going to go on the side here, but you don't want this bit to interfere with it, so just make sure that when you're gluing anything on here, it's clear of the mechanism. So again, and I'm just going to make sure that I leave a little bit not glued on here, and in fact what I should have done is measured up, because that's gone slightly higher than my 3.5 centimetres. So scrape it off while it's still wet, and then use a glue eraser. Once it's dry, you can just come in and clean that off. So I'll leave that to dry on the front there. I'll pop this one, and I will make sure, there we go, that I'm just, why am I picking up the wrong glue? Okay. Make sure, yeah, that's going to be fine. That's going to go up to the edge there. Okay. Literally, I just went over slightly on the top there. Now, if you haven't got a glue eraser, then you can always come in afterwards with a bit of talc and go over it. But where that overlaps, can you see? You can have that standing a little bit proud, because you know, even when they open it, it's just going to go over the front of that one. And then this final one can just be added to the front there as well. So again, you don't need to use dimensionals on this bit, because it's just going to sit on that, because the pop out gives it the dimension itself. So it's like a street scene where you've got, you know, little houses like so. So fold it flat for posting, pop it up, and then these last two little bits are the only ones I'm going to pop up on a dimensional. So this is a really quick, you know, quick card to make using that DSP to create our really fun little scenes. There we go. So, there's my first one. There's my second one. Here's my first one. I love the blues on this one, but I love this too. Which do you prefer? I'll usually ask you that question. But if you've got any queries, let me know. I do answer comments. And pop along to my Facebook page, Create with Flutter by Heidi. I have a look at what I do on there, and I share links. Or hit the subscribe button. That would be great. Or give me a like. Anything like that is really much appreciated. And come back and see me again soon. Bye now.